right, everybody, welcome in. This is game number 1 of a best of 3 series played out in the summer map contest hosted by myself, Frank Sriracha, and Bailmal. And playing in this best of 3 in the blue here, this is Wallace playing Infernal. Has been practicing a lot of Celestial. His opponent, who is playing the Celestial faction, in the red, this is Hupsaiya. And shout out, Hupsaiya is a content creator if you are unfamiliar. He's got a stream on Twitch and I believe also produces YouTube videos. He plays different games, but Stormgate is one of them. And he also plays StarCraft 2, I understand, and probably a handful of others. Go check him out. I should also say a quick shout out to him. He's hosted a couple tournaments in Stormgate, so always happy for other folks in the tournament scene. And we are on, this is the map contest. This is one of the maps made by Matt Arena on Twitch. He sometimes even makes maps on his stream. And he made this very beautiful map that actually, I mean, it obviously won, so that it is here in the contest, but it was also the map that got the highest number of votes. In fact, if I remember correctly, tied with another map made by Matt. So good job, Matt. And way to start off the, that was a misclick on his effigy. But way to start out off the map making, the map making world in the Stormgate map editor and game. I'm sure we'll see a lot more really interesting maps from Matt as well as from other great content creators. Here we have Hupsaiya starting out with 4 Argent Rush, coming in and wanting to immediately wreak havoc, wanted to kill that brute but didn't get it. A 5th Argent showing up here as well, going for Imps. Wallace, I'm sure, has faced this before. Now with the new brutes, he only gets a single fiend out of that. He runs the fiend away. Imps are running to this 3rd base here, but maybe Wallace, look at that, very quickly putting down a tribute pyre, and then coming in with some extra brutes in the fiend, splitting the brutes into fiends. This way he gets the extra fiends, and with some micro he might be able to pick off a few more, but extra Argents are showing up. This is definitely a serious pressure from Hupsaiya. He wants to maybe win it right here. This could be an all-in. It's not clear. He does have a 2nd base behind this. So this might be 2 base all-in. Or who knows? Maybe he is still teching or droning behind this. He's got a lot of Argents though. And Wallace, who was a little greedy on 3 base, is having a hard time to deal with this. But at the same time, hasn't taken considerable damage until, well, now he is starting to lose these imps as they get chased into the back. And his main is now under threat. More Argent showing up. And it looks like Hupsaiya is gaining a foothold here in this game. He's now poking on the Conclave, saying, fine, if you're not going to come fight me, I'm just going to kill some of your production. Conclave goes down. That definitely is going to slow Wallace here. Wallace is going to pump a couple more brutes in hopes that he can build it. Now look, okay, I mentioned, what is Hupsaiya doing behind this? He's actually going up to 3 bases. He's summoning a few more creation chambers. I think he's in a good position here. If Wallace is able to pull himself out of this, look at this as the vault goes down. This is not great. The vault goes down. Wallace is gonna have to commit here. He gets his final brute out of this last vault. He splits them all into fiends. I like the idea here. I hope it works. But here we have a very well-trained Protoss player from StarCraft 2 who knows how to deal with Lings attacking his, Link Stalkers, and that's a GG from Wallace in game number 1. Alright, we're back. And this is going to be Emberfrost, the other map made by Matterino. And once again, these are Wallace and Hupsaiya. And Emberfrost gets its name from the demonic, flaming, infernal territories over here. Ember to the frosty, dirty ski resort over here. I don't know. It's certainly not where the Celestials live, I don't think. Maybe it is. Maybe they live on an ice planet. We don't know much about their lore yet. A really cool map. Also, very beautiful map, but also considered, you know, a good map for competitive play. And we're going to see it played out here today in our map contest, game number 2 here between Wallace and Hupsaiya. And let's take a look at what's going on. Wallace has definitely not been as greedy as last game, as that burnt him in the butt. And it looks like it might be, oh, I was going to say, is that a third arc ship? No, that's a second arc ship here, which is fairly common build with Celestials right now. So I'm trying to think, is it going to be a rush from Hupsaiya? It doesn't look like it, although we see, there we go, we do have a surge, which, as you can see, speeds up that Argent production. You see how he queues up 2 more? That's because you can get 3 Argents out with the surge, if I understand. Actually, that first surge ended. So maybe that was an older build or something like that. Or maybe I just made that up, because that's very likely. Very likely. But that is because often you'll see Celestials push out with 3 Argents. And that's their early pressure. And last game we saw Hupsaiya do it with 4 Argents with a 5th very close behind. And so we'll see. What I think he's not going to... I mean, it's wise. You'll see this on ladder. You might play the same thing over and over and over again. But when you're playing a best of 3 or a best of 5, you have to understand that your opponent's the same. They're going to know. He's not going to go into that 4 Argent rush right away. There's his 4 Argents at home, sitting, making a wall. In fact,
detected. A Stormgate
what was that about?
Soon.
He transformed one of his buildings into a morph core. You don't see that. That's maybe a mistake, or maybe it was his intention to switch tech. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Hupsaiya decided I'm going to play a more macro game after winning a more aggressive game. Because the meta that's going on here is that he knew that Wallace was probably going to play safer. He wasn't going to go that mass expand route, and was likely going to hold any potential rush. I like this. 2 Fiends, because of the way they deal damage. Do they do the debuff? They don't do the debuff, I don't think. But nonetheless, their DPS is very high, and they're able to chew through the damage on the Stormgate without putting Wallace at risk. He's got his units out here ready in case Argent show up. And if A-Ring gets popped out of the first Stormgate, perfectly good. One of the better units, even though it took a bit of a nerf, because it used to just be really good. It like would never run out of energy and was just permanently healing, which is kind of cool. Now still just strong, still just a strong unit. But if you weren't already intending to go for a push, it doesn't. I don't think it doesn't immediately turn you into an army that's like, now I'm going to walk across the map, especially a larger map like this one here, where by the time you get over there, defender's advantage could be kicking in pretty strong. We got a little ball of Argents here as the wall, while we have 4 Star Forges now. as well as an Ascension Matrix. Nothing yet coming out of the Ascension. Oh, I lied. That's our recall. Yeah. It's our recall tech, which is just going to upgrade our vectors, of course, so that they can recall back. So they have a power called Delta Jump, which allows them to teleport, kind of like a blink. And then their recall allows them to teleport back to where they were before, allowing them to do some cool shenanigans. Vectors are definitely shenanigan tech, but Argents are coming with. Is that all the Argents? Oh, okay, I thought there were more. Six is still a good ball. But is Wallace ready for this? I think he is. We get an effigy down. We get a blink back, and Hupsaiya is just retreating or regrouping. He regrouped for a second. He's going to move around. Go to the healing tower, maybe? The Fiend of Wallace was keeping an eye on the army, so Wallace had an idea where that was. Hellborn added. And Wallace ahead a little bit in supply. Where are we going, Hup?
Dimensional rift detected.
Okay, that makes sense.
A Stormgate will activate soon.
Stormgate up. And it's worth noting that the Stormgates on this map, there are sort of two that are kind of off in the corners and maybe favor one over the other.
A Stormgate has
of
appeared.
The players. But this one's right in the middle, as a lot of Stormgates are right in the middle. Vectors get here first. Now Hupsaiya is going to have the advantage here when it comes to the Stormgate, although it looks like the army is in Wallace's favor. He comes pushing in with an effigy. He wants to stay on his side with the effigy, but he also wants to put damage down onto the Stormgate. As I said, Hupsaiya has the advantage because he did not capture the first one. His damage is basically double damage on the Stormgate. However, the Brutes are forcing back his units. He does get on top of the Faerun and he pops it open with his vectors. And wow, okay, it's a pretty good battle here. I think both players are doing a good job. Wallace had the upper hand, but Hupsaiya had really good micro there to be able to not take as many losses on his vectors while also, dealing damage to the army of Wallace. Wallace wins the Stormgate. Maybe we're not too surprised about that. What's he going to pop out of there? Some Void Prowlers. And what's he going to do with them? Put them on the army, it looks like. No, he saw a saber and ran away. There is a base going up here, and he's looking for it, I guess. And bingo bango, he finds it. Hellborn out front, that's not great. A few Brutes run in to make the front line, and Hupsaiya is retreating back. He does have sabers now, which is a good add, but there are more Hellborn than sabers right now, and that could be good for Wallace here. We'll see as sabers start to go down. There isn't much of a front line here. It's Gaunts that are basically tanking for the Hellborn, and Gaunts versus sabers is not great. The Void Prowlers, in the meantime, have taken out one of those bases and are currently attacking another base, doing a great job of killing Piglins over here. The Gaunts go down, and now the Hellborn are in retreat. But look at this. They're kiting. Oh my, I've never seen Hellborn kite before. That's cool. Wallace doing a really good job of punching some damage here in on Hupsaiya. And behind this, Wallace is banked up. He must have been focused on micro. That's certainly how I play Infernal, which is when I'm microing hard like that, I forget to macro behind it. He is on a 50 supply lead. He could probably use more production structures here. And do we see more going down? No. We see more bases going down, which I do like that. I like that. There we go. There's our additional production. We have 5 vaults going down and a dragon now being trained. I'm still getting used to that. I was playing a game. I'm like, boom! I got money for a dragon.
Dimensional
Where's my
rift
dragon?
detected.
And I'm like,
A
oh crap! I
Stormgate
gotta
will
wait 2
activate
minutes
soon.
for a dragon, or however long it is. I think it's 2 minutes. But he already has a dragon out. I didn't notice this. So he does have a dragon, which means he's been training a dragon. And that's the new change. Even though you got to wait 2 minutes for the dragon, you can immediately build another one. You don't have to wait the 5-minute cooldown anymore. Hellborn in the back going to put down serious damage here. There are Animancers, and Animancers are good at. There's only a couple here, which means you want to use their energy sparingly. We got a Unseen Veil. I'm not sure what the idea there was. The dragon above, putting down this damage, using its skills, breathing in and breathing out. You breathe out to give the curse onto all the units in the range of your breath. And then you breathe in to remove that curse, dealing a lot of damage and healing the dragon. This is a tug of war that's been going on here. Usually I don't recommend doing a tug of war. The Hellborn, I think, are okay because they deal so much damage that I don't mind them in a tug of war because you think they're going to win. But they're also really good at just getting on these units. And we see, ooh, Animancer gets caught. She's a slow one. Heaven Step makes another Animancer vulnerable, and she goes down. Trampling Magmadons to force the army back. The dragon's still above, and there's not been an answer to the dragon just yet. As the second dragon is about to pop, we have 4 sides on the way as well as 3 sides in the field, another one arriving. That's going to be a pretty good answer, but what's happening on the ground is there's nothing left. The Magmadons have stomped away, a few sabers remain, but the Hellborn and the dragon, actually the dragon is now dead. The sides have done their job. Unfortunately, now the sides have been assigned to trying to kill Magmadons. In the old days, there once was a patch, and size were good at everything, but it is not this patch. They are anti-air units. They have dealt with the air, and in comes another dragon. This is a nice winning wave, it looks like, for Wallace here. He's gonna just push in here until we get to GG, I think. Hupsaiya is still microing his sides, trying to get the dragon, but Shadow Flyers are throwing up, and there's our GG from Hupsaiya in game number 2. Alright, here we are. We're in it. Well, this is game number 3. Once again, this is Wallace. And playing the Celestial, I thought that was an arc ship. Sometimes you just don't know where to aim. I mean, the arc ship's a wee bit bigger. This is Hupsaiya. Oh, tried to zoom right as he flew through the scene. Oh, it's so perfect. My cameramanship. Cameramanship. I'm sure that's a word. We got 2 creation chambers. That seems a little bit different here. A little bit, wee bit. No extra arc ship. And we are fully saturated here. So different. This might have been the build he did in game number 1. Because with 2 creation chambers, you're able to get out more Argents, and you'll notice he's in red power, but that doesn't actually do anything other than prevent building production. It's building supply. It's not unit supply. So he can continue to build Argents, and he has 2 Argents on the way. Another one pops up. He's actually got 2 more on the way. He's going for 4 Argents. We have Wallace once again playing a little defensive. He's got extra vaults. His Enclave is already finished. And maybe I should mention, we are playing on Malice Depths. This is another map and another one of the winners in our map contest. And it was designed by none other than Ariel Stormgate, who is also playing in this tournament. In fact, all 3 of our winners are playing in the tournament. There's no funny business about that. They signed up before they won. And we have 5 maps that won, but there were 3 map designers that won. 2 by Matt, 2 by Guillotine, and 1 by Ario. And we have imps going down already, and these imps ran the wrong way, I think. Although, ooh, is this cleverness? Was that buying time to get units out? That's a lot. Oh, he has a lot more units to answer with this time. And it's just he doesn't have as much.
Dimensional rift detected. A Stormgate will activate
he just got
soon.
his curse up. Curse blades or whatever. Yeah. And drops the effigy. Oh. Yeah. That was a nice try by Hupsaiya to try and micro and kill the effigy, and he does. But another effigy because he's placing them on Shroud, the cooldown is only 5 seconds. And I would be impatient and be trying to chase down Hupsaiya right now. But Wallace is wisely saying, hey, every second I sit here and build another brute or another pair of gaunts, that Hupsaiya is just chilling, means that I'm getting an advantage. Now Hupsaiya is rallying his own, and he is going for the Stormgate now. But Wallace had a little sniff of that, because he's already on the way before he got the alert that says, hey, he's going for the Stormgate. Stormgate is captured. This could go bad for either side, actually. What's going to pop out? It is a Faerun, I was going to say. That's the most likely thing to pop. And it is helpful. And actually at this point, ooh, if Hupsaiya can get his control down. But there are fiends here that have done a pretty good job. So I think both sides took losses there. I daydream for the day where we have a units lost tab or a resources lost. Just so we can, keep score a little bit there. We can check supply, and Hupsaiya is the one who's in the lead in supply. Wallace is on these 2 bases. He's fairly saturated, but he's not getting a lot of Therium, which suggests he's staying on brute tech for a while. Is he upgraded? He's upgraded to Greater Shrine. And we also see Hupsaiya has built this base here. And is that saturated? It says 2. There we go, 7. There is a little bug with the reading. It only reads the currently selected player. So I had to select units of Hupsaiya for it to properly display. Ooh. These are not real trees. So nice scanners, but those are sad. There are sadly not real trees. One thing that our map designers could, I think, add to more of their maps are some trees. Here's some trees. Those look like they might. No, those one might just be decoration trees too. The things we need to remember are, like, you can just put some light trees there or something. Little places where you can put some trees that just make it so that the map becomes more maneuverable. I do think that adding some of those trees makes the map a little less optimized.
Dimensional rift detected. A
Stormgate
Stormgate will activate soon.
I'm not 100% sure how all that stuff works, but that might be one reason is players are trying. They're going right now just trying to make these nice empty spaces that you have to maneuver around to make pathways and enclosures and such. And they'll experiment with trees more.
A Stormgate has appeared.
This Stormgate seems to be advantage for Wallace. But Wallace sees the army of Hupsaiya coming. Wallace is up on 3 bases, but Hupsaiya is actually building his 5th base right now, which, as a Celestial, to keep up with the other factions with the current economy, you kind of need to do that. 3 bases in this economy? Are you crazy? Yeah, something like that. we got, see, this is this base loaded up, came over here. We got this base. This one's saturated. This one's saturated. So we are four fully saturated and up to 7. Well, that's just with a bunch more prisms being made. Some 3 over here catch a Hellborn out. And actually, oh no. Hupsaiya has split his army and decided, I'm going to force you back to fight some Kree while I go and attack this 3rd. Wallace was wise enough, I think, to recognize, hey, I see this coming, and at least defends this base. Took some losses, maybe some imp losses over here. He's on 6 imps over here. Looks like he did lose some. And this was still fully saturated, so did take some losses. And now he's going to try and return the favor by sending his Void Prowlers in. They just run past the army and be like, hey, you got prisms? I'm eating them. I like prisms. I like to eat prisms. And for the moment, that is what's going on, is prisms are being eaten. We see Kree showing up, but Void Prowlers can blink into the high ground, killing more prisms. Definitely getting their money's worth because they were free units. Oh, good work with the Kree to zone them off. And we get a blink down to the low ground and freedom. They can go heal up. They can be annoying and do some more damage later on in the game. Oh, they get found by the Kree, and I do like Hupsaiya for being diligent here and trying to chase them down, not letting them be that, yeah, down, get another one. There's just still one left. That's going to be hard to be danger. Although, here's a base right here. Hupsaiya is in the supply lead. We see Wallace going for a 4th base now. Where did the other Void Prowler go? Did it die? What's this? Oh,
Dimensional
strike
rift
forces.
detected. A Stormgate will activate soon.
Okay, here we have a battle with the force of Hupsaiya on the left, but it's only half of his army because he sent a strike force over here into the 3rd of Wallace. So Wallace is going to win this army battle and be able to put damage onto this base while he's taking some losses here. Luckily he had lots of gremlins there, but still, gremlins are kind of squishy. The army of Hupsaiya is kind of losing while this base is also being harassed. Actually, a few units have reinforced here. Now this base is likely to go down really quickly. The Kree over here doing a good job. Brutes have shown up, and it looks like Hupsaiya is going to commit his army here. Flame imps! Wonderful. I was wondering where all the imps had gone. They flamed on, and they were able to clear this up. I think Wallace maybe came out ahead on that. Hey, there is a Stormgate going down over here. Did not notice that. Glad the Stormgate lady's not so loud anymore. And Wallace putting down damage after killing that base. But we can see here the army of Hupsaiya is not that large, although he does still have these units over here harassing. And the question becomes, what comes out of this and what does Wallace do next? I'm not sure Wallace even knows this base exists. Although, now he does. And what? He gets a Dark Throne and he's like, actually, I want to make this base. Oh, I love this. I love how he keeps it secret. He could have run it up the ramp and just started plopping it down, but he is actually running it. Where is he running it? This base got cleaned up. The gremlins here are actually doing a good job. Well, I think it was Flame Imps again. A small army shows up while this base is being destroyed, but the base actually wasn't destroyed, and there's still a lot of creation chambers there. Good work to get on top of these units. So Saber going down. There are Animaster. Does she have energy? I don't think so. Not for a Dark Prophecy. And now the damage is being dealt in the main. We're seeing Legion Hulls going down. Star Forges going down. Animaster's in the back, hoping to charge back up. Sides above. Again, not dealing quite as much damage as they used to in previous patches. More Gaunt showing up. And I think Wallace is just going for the kill, and that is a GG from Hupsaiya.